Here I am with Alice Driscoll and Louise van Haarst, who are together the authors of Smart Conflict, How to Have Hard Conversations at Work. And the reason that we're here is because, brilliantly, this book, along with several other practical inspiration titles, has been shortlisted for the Business Book Awards 2026, and I'm doing a series of LinkedIn Live conversations with all our authors of those books. So first of all, congratulations. Yay!
Thank you.
So exciting. And I'm going to ask you what I'm asking all the others in this series, which is, why did you write this book? If I start with Alice, if I start with you on that.
Yeah, I think we wrote it for a number of reasons. Mostly that lots of our clients that we were working with were asking us, and even actually some coaches and some associates and colleagues were kind of saying, well, what would you recommend? What's a great book about managing difficult conversations and conflict at work that you recommend? And I think whilst there's some, there are absolutely books in this field that have been published kind of globally, there wasn't something that was answering quite the question that people were asking us based on the work that we were doing. So it was partly to kind of address a need, a gap that kind of we'd identified and some other people had identified, and also a way of really reaching kind of more people. So there's lots of people that were sort of desperate to kind of get hold of some of the thinking and the methodologies, but their organization hadn't kind of brought us in to run workshops. So it was really a way of making sure that people could access the ideas and the thinking, and those sort of practical help, even if they couldn't attend a workshop that we were running.
There's only so many people that can cram into a room with you. I get it.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the other reason that we wrote it is, managing conflict at work, having hard conversations well, is such a kind of burning passion. It's something that we had been working on as coaches, as team coaches. And I think there's kind of a wider thing. Yes, it's very practical. As the book our clients were asking for. Yes, it kind of helps us get the word out there. But I think we were both so committed to this subject. We realized that it's kind of one of the most intractable problems that businesses are working, are kind of dealing with globally, that there was a real kind of moment in time, a kind of burning platform to get it out there.
Well, and that leads me beautifully to my next question, which, Louise, I'll address to you. Why does it matter? What's so critical about managing conflict better at work?
I mean, I think there's a kind of macrocosm that you can't avoid at the moment. I mean, we live in very conflict-prone times, lots of polarization out there in the world, in politics, in different worldviews. And obviously that is something that is going to show up in the workplace, because we are not different people outside than we are in work. So I think it is something that's particularly of its time, a particular working difficulty. But of course, what we know is that this is an evergreen problem. Like, we've always had to have difficult conversations at work. Working with other people is not easy. And actually having a playbook to do that, I think we both kind of passionately felt was a great contribution to what we believe in terms of excellence in kind of leadership and management, but also something that individuals really need in this moment.
Yeah, do you want to add anything to that, Alice?
Well, only that, so apart from the sort of the kind of global sort of divisive nature of society at the moment, I think even within organizations, there are a few sort of factors, like the fact that we've got more generations working together, for example, than we ever have had before, certainly brings up some new challenges and dynamics around navigating differences in values and expectations. So there's a few things that I think kind of really kind of a sort of colliding, if you like, to mean that people are really looking for this guidance sort of in this moment, really.
And one thing that's always struck me about this book is that you are not saying, here's how to avoid conflict at work. You're saying, if you're not having conflict at work, that's a really bad sign. Yeah. So I think that sort of angle is really interesting as well.
Yeah, it's about learning that it's completely unavoidable. It's totally normal, and that we don't want to avoid it, because that's often where the best innovation, the rethinking, the development of our relationships, the deepening of our kind of team dynamic happens when we're having those conversations, and we're doing it in a way that is what we call task focused. So it's not about us kind of having a big fallout, personal attack about our identity. It's about kind of addressing the problem on the table, but doing it in a way that is generative rather than destructive.
Yeah, we spend a lot of our time talking about, where we really want to put our energy is not in developing relationships with an absence of conflict, but in really learning how to navigate those moments and actually turn them into something that builds the dynamic, builds the trust, builds the depth of connection for having successfully navigated the challenges. And so they are really sort of prizes to be collected if we know how to do that kind of repair and how to kind of navigate successfully. And I think most people are lacking those skills. We're not taught these things at school. No. Louise and I did not learn these things from our parents.
No.
And a lot of other people are lacking them. But I think the thing we always want to land is that they're not difficult things to learn. Once you understand what to do, it feels very doable, very, very easy to just apply immediately. But we don't know what we don't know.
Yeah. And it is absolutely transformative when you get it right.
Yeah, and we're seeing that happen with individuals, we're seeing it with teams, we're now seeing it at scale with kind of organizations that are embracing the methodology and are training people top to bottom in how to do it. And it is it is unbelievable. I don't think we could have dreamed that this would happen when we started talking about writing the book.
Oh, that's really, really good to hear. And I've got to ask you as well, when you found out that you had been shortlisted, how did you react?
You know what? It was a real moment for us because I think we hadn't sort of dared to hope that it might be possible to be a finalist. But I think we were, our response, our sort of how pleased we were, which was very, very pleased, was really indicative of this idea that when we set out to write this book, our number one focus was how do we create something that is genuinely useful, that is really, really an easy but highly valuable read. What we had as a sort of third ambition was somebody who reads or knows about what good books are might say even that this is a objectively good and well written book. And so it was a kind of a validation of a secret wish that we hadn't really hoped to express. And so that feels special. And
it was a funny day, wasn't it, Alice? Because we had just given a keynote in Barcelona. And we had literally sort of de-mic'd, rushed to the airport, got on a plane, got on the tube. And on our way, we're thinking, really tired and it's quite late. And I don't think we're going to get shortlisted. Should we even go? And we're like, no, we've made the effort. Let's go. It's really important. We can go and clap all our other kind of practical inspiration colleagues. But it was very much in that spirit of sort of standing there and practicing our kind of Oscars face when we didn't appear. And we were sort of like children, I think, when we were sort of like, the genuine surprise and delight when we saw the book cover going up there. I don't think you could have fabricated. I don't think we could have pretended to be as surprised and delighted as we were. So it really was quite the moment.
Yeah, we're glad you made it then. Go again, Alice?
Well, we already feel like winners, so we're like, we don't mind what happens from here on in. We're just so happy that we get to go to, a fun event as finalists, and that's fantastic.
Yeah. It's going to be so much fun. I will see you there in September. I can't wait. Thanks for your time today. It's just great to kind of revisit the books, just talk about the ideas behind it, why it's in the world, and thank you for writing it. It is an excellent book.
Oh well, thank you for all your support, Alison.
Yes. We can't wait to dance on the dance floor with you when the day comes.
100%. We'll be there. Thanks.